Welcome to Dodgers Dawgs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network. Casey Porter here. Day game after night game. Boy, didn't we have a fun show last night. I can't thank everybody enough for tuning in last night and creating such a great chat that we had. So much fun. I'm still so excited about last night. So, hey, it is a different day. It is Game 3 of the 2025 World Series, and it is a game to where one team's going to lead with a lead tonight with a lead in the series, and another team is going to be down 2-1. So you got through the hard part. You got through your Savage. You got through Gossman. You got through being in Toronto, of which Toronto, we're going to go through all sorts of numbers with Toronto. We're going to go back over how Toronto does against velocity. We're going to do the Toronto thing on the road versus at home. We're going to do that and compare those numbers. We're going to talk about Max Scherzer and put some game plans together, kind of talk about the type of pitcher he is now. Of course, we know all about Max Scherzer, but as far as what he is right now, how he has been performing as of late, and we're going to cover all of that, and we're going to let you know exactly what maybe the game plans will be for the Dodgers, things to look for, games inside the games to pay attention to, because again, I've mentioned this several different times. If you are a baseball fan, just take off your hat as far as which fan you are a fan of. This has been an absolutely awesome matchup so far between the Blue Jays and the Dodgers, and I'm going to say this pretty succinctly, okay? The next two games, and really probably the next three games, these are games that, in my opinion, the Dodgers should be very heavily favored in. If, for one, hey, Max Scherzer is a Hall of Famer, we're going to get into that. There is going to be zero disrespect. There's going to be zero arrogance from this podcast, but there is going to be what I consider to be facts, okay? And so I don't say this or come at this from a perspective of arrogance or overconfidence or any aspect like that, but just looking at what this situation is. Now, Toronto's been pretty good on the road. Don't get me wrong. It's not like they've been terrible, but they don't slug as much on the road. We'll get into that here in a minute. But when you look at just the matchups with Max Scherzer and Shane Bieber the next two nights, two pitchers that have had great careers. So would it surprise anybody if Max Scherzer, especially with I would have to say he probably has frustration towards his time with the Dodgers. I think it's fair to say Dodgers fans have some frustration with him, right? That was not a perfect situation that when he and Trey Turner came over. That was not a perfect situation. I would say Dodgers fans had some frustration, and I would say that goes both ways. So he's been a Hall of Fame pitcher for God knows how long. He's been incredible. He's an absolutely awesome pitcher. He's going to pitch in L.A., a place to where he probably harbors at least somewhat of feelings to where he would like to get some kind of revenge as far as those aspects of things. And so would it be surprising at all if Max Scherzer came out and just pitched, just lights out, maybe one of his last times ever? You never know when you're going to get back. So, he's going to view this as, hey, this is probably the last time that I'm going to get to pitch in the World Series. Whether that's true or not, that's how he will view that today. And so he'll have that motivation. He'll have the motivation kind of as a revenge factor towards the Dodgers. It's at Dodger Stadium. He's a Hall of Famer, and it's going to be a huge environment and a huge setting. So would I be surprised at all if Max Scherzer beat the odds and came out and threw well and shut down the Dodgers and put his team in position to win? No, not at all. I would not be surprised whatsoever. That's what Hall of Fame type guys do, is they rise to the occasion. So I would not be surprised if that happened. But I will say, in my opinion, from a factual position, the Dodgers are heavy favorites. They should be able to get to Max Scherzer. They should be able to wait him out. They should be able to put a game plan together that will make it difficult for him, where even if he does have success, now I'm sure Louis Varland and the rest of the bullpen, Sir Anthony Dominguez and Fluharty, and all those guys will be ready to go tonight, no doubt about it. Toronto will have all their bullets, but just the factual aspects of things are, if Max Scherzer, even if it does rise to the occasion, he has success against the Dodgers, you would have to assume that it would kind of be like the Gossman deal and the Savage deal. You wouldn't think it would be like Yoshinobu Yamamoto where he could go the entire game, right? Although it is Max Scherzer, we know that they did the Blake Trinan thing where he told his manager Schneider, "Hey, just go on back because I'm staying out here." So if he lasted 7 or 8 innings, yes, that would be definitely against the grain. But would it be the most surprising thing of all time? No, just because of who he is. So I'm always scared of guys like Max Scherzer, Shane Bieber. Guy, it's kind of like my grandpa would always tell me as a kid, and whether he was right or wrong, you can agree or disagree, but I always agreed with it, and I still do. He explained to me that, and this was kind of his be a winner versus, be a winner in life type of speech. My grandpa was so smart. He would always tell me, Casey, you can take all the money in the world away from the rich people and give it all the way to the poor people, and within 5 years, the rich people will have it all back. He said, because some people they figured out how to get it the first time, they will figure out how to get it again. So the moral of that story is, Max Scherzer figured out how to be a Hall of Famer. He figured out how to be great. And so would it be surprising for him to figure out how to be great again tonight? Absolutely not. So no fear, no doubt about it, but certainly the utmost ultimate respect for you on Mr. Max Scherzer. You're an awesome pitcher. Now, as a Dodgers fan, let's go kick your ass, right? That's what I'm rooting for tonight. And I think the Dodgers definitely have the ability to do that. It is going to be a fascinating matchup again. So let's get into some of the Max Scherzer breakdown here. As you see, he hasn't been awesome whatsoever this year, and he certainly has not been awesome lately. His last 30 games, which would be all year, 5.19 ERA, and half a season, 5.14. So really it's been kind of, he's been above that 5 ERA all year long, and then he's been even worse in his last 7 games. So that was, that's regular season. I like it. You can take the postseason, whatever. I like to take the full season. I think that's a better snapshot of what that pitcher has been. And I think we all know, if you've paid attention to baseball whatsoever, he is a guy that can heat it up there. Right now, he's around about a 93 average on his fastball, but he is heavy four-seam slider. He is, he was that power pitcher before we knew what power pitchers were, right? Like, he was the guy that was riding the top of the zone and using the backspin and carry of his four-seam fastball to get hitters out at the top of the zone. And then also, I know he throws a four-seam, but his fastball does, it's kind of like Gossman. He can throw that four-seam where it has some sink to it. Now, Gossman's had more of a right turn. Scherzer, whenever he throws it to the bottom of the zone, he's going to lose about 2 or 3 miles an hour of velo, but he's going to gain a couple of inches of sink to it. So while Max Scherzer does not throw a two-seam, he definitely has a four-seam that can have sinker tendencies in the sense that his ball can sink. So number one, can the Dodgers lay off the high fastball and make him come in the zone at the top of the zone? So if the Dodgers are able to lay off the high fastball that's out of the zone, force Max Scherzer at the top of the zone to keep it as a strike, that's a pitch to where, his average launch angle on his fastball is above 30%. I think it's somewhere around 30%. We'll get into the exact number here in a minute. So if the Dodgers force him to actually throw the ball in the strike zone at the top of the zone with his fastball and don't swing at the fastballs that are up above the letters, then that will be a pitch the Dodgers can do damage to. There's no doubt about it, because it's going to be 94, 95. It's going to be a spot in the zone where the Dodgers can get the ball up in the air. They can elevate it. And so if that cat and mouse happens to where the Dodgers force him in the zone with his high fastball, that's a matchup where you could see the Dodgers hit a couple of home runs, no doubt about it. So he's the high fastball. He's sink on the bottom of the zone. He's done more of the sink to the bottom of the zone a little bit more lately. He's going to be about a 93, 94, occasionally maybe heated up more than that. And then he's going to pair that with a slider that he likes to tunnel off of the fastball. And what's made his slider so good over the years, the unique characteristics, as you see in this picture right here, he's able to curl his thumb underneath the ball, and what that allows him to do, it really allows him to get a lot of sharp, late break, and more kind of lateral movement to it. And a lot of times that lateral movement is extremely difficult to get to, especially there's nothing harder on a hitter, even disciplined professional hitters like the Dodgers. There's nothing harder on a hitter than late and precise and very clear, hard breaking movement. So late movement that is very crisp. That there's no game planning for that, because you never can predict. I mean, how can you predict if a ball is going to move 16 inches versus 18 inches, right? And then whenever you're talking about a 16th of an inch being the difference between maybe a home run and a pop-up, maybe sometimes even less than that, that 2 inches, especially if it's late movement, that only adds to the difficulty in that equation. So the late movement on a slider is the game. So if he can get to that slider he's not a great strike thrower. The Dodgers, I think they can wait him out. I think even if Max Scherzer is having success, I think they can wait him out and make him throw a million different pitches. Got to bring him in the strike zone, though. If you chase the zone, if you swing at the high pitch, the high fastball that's out of the zone, if you swing at the late breaking sliders that are breaking out of the zone, that's how Max Scherzer is going to beat you. And then he'll throw in some change-ups and curveballs, just really kind of to keep the hitters honest. And so, definitely fastball slider combo there. And hey, good morning, Dodgers Dogs. Pocket Rude Boy, I called out of work because it's your birthday to be here with you this morning. And thank you so much, Pocket Rude Boy. That means an absolute ton. And what an absolute awesome deal. A $4.99 super chat. Dodger Talking Heads discounting the Jays, just gaslighting us into thinking it was a cakewalk. Appreciate you leaning into the numbers. Go LA Coach. Yes, the Blue Jays are an outstanding, great team. I just happen to feel like the Dodgers, if they play their game, they are even better. So here you see four seam. Thank you so much again, Pocket Rude Boy. Happy birthday. Thank you so much for joining. That means so much to me, and thank you so much for the wonderful, wonderful, wonderful super chat. Sammy Boy Smith, what's going on this morning? Hey, CNAV, look at the curveball, middle. Yes, we're going to get to that here in just a minute. No doubt about that. Great point there, CNAV. Elishiva Jones, Glasnow and Scherzer, both have incredible talent, no doubt about that. So thank you so much for joining. So the four seam, about 93%. He's been thrown to the bottom of the zone more. Here it is. Only less than 50% in the strike zone with his fastball. And a lot of that is because he's trying to throw that low to the zone. He's not the overpowering guy that, the guy that can reach 98 like he used to be. So he's having to use location more, and specifically this pitch up here. If he gets it up around the letters and the Dodgers swing at that, which the Dodgers did not swing at that high pitch against Savage. The Dodgers are very good at being disciplined and not swinging at that pitch up in the zone. If the Dodgers instead bring that pitch down to about right here, then the launch angle you see is 29 degrees, which means that they can do a lot of damage to that pitch. So literally right here, this zone right here is where I think the difference in the game is going to be. If you swing here, you lose. If you swing there, you win. And then also, if you just don't, chase the zone with the slider from there. Average exit velo of his fastball is around 90 miles an hour. Slugging percentage, you can see, is up there. Batting average is up there. So the way guys beat his four seam is to swing at the right ones. Literally it is as simple as swing at the correct fastballs. Take the ones that are meant to get swing and miss, and swing at the ones that are hittable in the strike zone. I think that's a fairly that's fairly common. There's nobody reinventing wheel there, but it's very, very accurate, I think. So the reason why he uses it up in the zone, one, because the fastball has so much carry to it that, the ball has that rising effect to hitters and they swing underneath it. But another from so that's the physical aspect of it. But from a strategical perspective, he uses that fastball as a tunnel point. So if you tunnel, let's say you start your fastball here, you tunnel that curveball off that exact same spot, and the curveball will drop down to here. The slider will drop down to about right there, and the changeup will drop down all the way to here. So starting with the tunnel point here, you have the slider there, you have the curveball here, changeup there. So that all, it relies upon setting a high point, a tunnel point to that fastball. So tonight, look at that high fastball, and what I want you to watch is how he tunnels that slider off that same tunnel point, slider coming to here, curveball coming to there, changeup going to there. And if you lay off that pitch and you make it a ball to begin with, then you're going to be hitting, as CNAV said, you're going to be hitting a lot of curveballs that end up right about here, that not only if the Dodgers only swing at the high fastballs that are actually in the zone, then they're going to have a lot of curveballs, I think, that are going to break right into the hitting zone that they'll be able to do damage to as well. So just lay off the nasty late breaking sliders, force him to throw strikes with it, lay off the high fastball, ambush the curveballs that start at the tunnel points that are about letter high. So if you see a curveball, if you see spin and it's about letter high, get ready to come out of your shoes. If you see spin and it's about belt high, then spit on it, right? If you see a fastball with backspin on it, letter high, lay off of it. If it's about belt high, come out of your shoes and get after it. And any and all sliders, force him to throw strikes with. At least that would be my game plan. Right there you see a whiff rate of 18.9%. That's kind of neutral. And a launch angle, again, of 29%. Put away of 20.4%, not, neutral there. Lots of slug on that pitch. And then here's the slider. In the zone just 28.7% of the time. The whiff rate is 33.2% though. So you see, not in the zone, great with it, but he does get a lot of swing and miss whiff with it, 33.2. That's because lesser hitters, less disciplined hitters, they chase it. And when you chase that slider, that's where he gets you out. And then also, if this average exit velo also goes to the idea of chasing. So if you chase a slider that's, say, 4 to 5 to 6 inches off the plate outside, you're just not going to make solid contact with that. And he's not going to throw very many sliders that are hittable. So basically, if you swing at a slider, you're either going to miss it or you're going to put it into play with soft contact, and you're not going to be able to elevate it with a launch angle of just around 17%. So really, the slider to me is a pitch that I just take away from him. I say, hey, Max, if you can throw the slider all night long for a strike, maybe we'll adjust second time through and we'll start ambushing that slider, but you're going to have to prove to me that you can actually throw that slider for a strike. So the changing curveball he throws about 25% of the time. They are not put away pitches. They are pitches that I talked about earlier. He's just trying to steal strikes with them. So if you see he's going to tunnel them off of that fastball, and if you see them start around letter high, get ready to come out of your shoes and take advantage of these batting averages on his change and curveball that starts about letter high, because they are going to end up in very, very variable, very hittable positions. And that's Shane Bieber for the next day. Hittable positions in terms of where they are located. So there is the breakdown of Max Scherzer for me. I'm going to get now to some of my numbers on that we went over last night as far as Toronto and their how they do against Velo. Let's get into some of that right now, and let's go ahead and talk about that and dive into that and do the matchup of Toronto in terms of because they're going to see a lot of heavy velo the next couple of days against Tyler Glasnow and Shohei Ohtani. So here it is right now, right here. So the takeaways right here is that they strike out more, they slug less. George Springer does less damage. Alejandro Kirk does more damage, but he strikes out more, so there's more boom and bust, Alejandro Kirk. So really, I think you got to do the ball to strike concepts with him, get him aggressive, so you want him swinging and missing. You do not want him putting high velo into play, because if he puts high velo into play, right here, his slug goes up against high velo. low average for Dalton Varsho, but he does hit for power. So like we said last night, Alejandro Kirk, Dalton Varsho, those are your strike to ball concept guys. You show them a pitch that looks like a strike, and you break it out of the zone, you get them to swing and miss. If you throw them strike-to-strike concepts in hittable pitches of the zone, be careful because they can do a lot of damage to those pitches. So I think you're going to be very aggressive. I think you're going to be strike-to-ball concepts to Kirk and Varsho. You're going to be very aggressive to Clement and Barger and Kiner Kalefa, and then what we were talking about last night. I think Bo Bichette, I think Nathan Lucas, Vladimir Guerrero, those are guys that likely are going to determine whether, I'm not reinventing the wheel. I mean, that's going to be with every game plan. But specifically here, when you're talking about very, very distinct tendencies where Kirk strikes out a lot and so does Varsho, but they also hit a lot of home runs off of it. Let's say that they hit one home run here. Okay, make sure you don't walk anybody in front of it. But I think the cat and mouse game here is how you handle Bo Bichette, Vlad Jr., and Nathan Lucas, and probably George Springer. You can throw that into the top of their lineup here. I think that's where you pitch backwards. I think that's where you keep them off balance. I think that's where you have to really focus on executing. So kind of, if you're just talking about a philosophical aspect of how Tyler needs to approach this, take as many pitches as you need. Take as many pitches as you need to get through 1 through 4 to make sure that you don't get damaged, right? So even if it takes 7, 8, 9 pitches per at bat, and it takes, let's say, 40 pitches to get through the top 4 guys in the lineup, that's fine. Where you can get efficient, at least from best plans laid, that never seem to work out. But just looking at, and you don't play games on paper, but just the way it looks on paper, I think you can get some of that efficiency back by attacking Ernie Clement, Addison Barger, and Kiner Kalefa down in the bottom lineup. This is where you have to be efficient. You got to get them out on 2 or 3 pitches. And then right here, you need to be very good at executing your strike-to-ball concepts to get a lot of swing and miss. And so I think you can be efficient here. I think you need to expend whatever energy you have to get through there. And right here, I think you need to be very, very, very detailed as far as your strike-to-ball concepts and very good in your execution. So that's how I break down the Toronto versus velocity in terms of how they do against that, and in terms of how they do on away games versus home games. Let's go to regular season first. So what you're going to see right here in runs scored, the Toronto Blue Jays are very average in terms of scoring runs in away games, and whenever you look at home games, the Toronto Blue Jays for the regular season right here. Let's scroll. They are actually third. So squarely put, Toronto has scored a lot in the regular season. They scored a lot more runs. They scored the third most runs as a home team than they did, but then as an away team, they're all the way down there tied for 11th place. So squarely, they scored a ton more runs at home than they have on the road in the regular season. But when you go to postseason right here, that has flipped on its head. Toronto actually has scored the most amount of runs away from home in the postseason. So you take your pick. Do you want to choose the overall sample size of the regular season, or do you want to choose the smaller sample size of the postseason? Because in the postseason, Toronto has scored the most amount of runs. They have the highest batting average away from home, and they have the highest OPS away from home in the postseason. So if anybody tries to give you a narrative that Toronto is a much better team away from home than they are on the road, that actually is inaccurate as it applies to the postseason. That's actually flipped on its head. They've actually been a better offensive team, as you can see here, away from home in the postseason than they have been at home. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but that's exactly how it's been. It's exactly opposite as the regular season. In the regular season, Toronto was a much better scoring team at home than they were on the road. In the postseason, they have a higher batting average, they have a higher OPS, and they have scored more runs on the road than they have at home. So please, as a Dodgers fan, don't just think, hey, well, Toronto's away from home and they're not very good away from home offensively and their identity is offense. That's fool's gold. At least it has been to this point. Now, again, if you want to make the case that you would rather go with the larger sample size of the regular season, I would even push back on that, because as you look at this, let me kind of give you some numbers here. As you look at this in the postseason, okay, this is 186 at bats. I mean, that's a pretty large sample size, right? That's a large enough sample size for me to say that I'm good with going with those numbers there. So that's kind of where I'm at as far as that. So there's your breakdown. Max Scherzer, I think it's about making sure you make him get his fastball down, far enough down to the top of the zone at least. Nothing above the zone with his fastball. Attack the fastball at the top of the zone, but not above the zone, but at the top of the zone, because I think you can elevate and celebrate, as they say nowadays, with those pitches. Lay off the slider, ambush the get-me-over curveballs that tunnel off basically the letter high fastballs. If it starts letter high, get after those get-me-over curveballs and change-ups. So I just would spit on his slider all in all, and let's just see if he can throw it for a strike, because he has not been a good strike thrower either with his four-seam or slider. On the other end, if the Dodgers, if they chase that high fastball, if they chase the slider out of the zone, they're going to be swinging and missing all night, and they're going to be putting soft balls in play, specifically probably on the ground. So that's the cat and mouse there. Good thing about that is the Dodgers, as we always say, they have been extremely disciplined in terms of the way that they have approached their swinging or not swinging at certain pitches, and their discipline at actually not chasing the strike zone. Hey, Protos, thank you so much for joining. Dry Protos, I think that's a new name that I don't recognize there. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you join more and more, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. Key to winning this game, we'll be getting Chris Bassett out of this game when he gets in. Make them go to their bullpen as early as possible. Don't want to jinx it, but I think Dodgers feast on Scherzer tonight. Make them throw, and you will get a mistake, says Dry Protos. I agree. That's what I'm saying. And I think you can force mistakes, because if you don't swing at Scherzer's fastball above the strike zone, I don't think he has anything else. And if you don't swing at Scherzer's fastball above the zone and you spit on the slider, I just don't think he has anything else that can beat the Dodgers inside the strike zone. Hey, CNAB, yes, hit that like button. Make sure and subscribe if you're not, and leave a comment in the regular comments section. Hey, the graph is not showing, says CNAB. Did I not get any of those graphs? We can't see the graph. Dadgummit. Are you sure the correct screen is being broadcast? Well, I guess not. I don't know why it wouldn't have. Let me scroll down here. Did any of that ever get corrected? Yes, they have career numbers against him. Would you leave a comment and let me know if any of that got corrected? David Vassay was saying the Jays struggle with the high fastball. Yoshi is the ace, as we're saying here. I believe the Yamamoto is the ace as well. Glasnow was born and raised in Los Angeles. He's the Dodgers ace. Yeah, hit the like button for Casey's research. Hey, would you leave a comment? Did I get those graphs eventually on there properly? Let me know there, because I can go back up and I can put them back on and make sure they were there if you did not see them to begin with. But I put them on the program the way that they were supposed to. Hopefully, yes, they have good career numbers against him. Good for so again, let's see. We have one more comment, Springer, about George Springer. It's going to be interesting to see. Casey, are you sure the correct screen is being? Yeah, we've been looking at the Max Scherzer PowerPoint. Again, leave a comment and let me. Graphs were all good. Okay, very good. We're on all good. It was when you were talking about tunneling. Okay, yeah. Thank you very much, guys. Okay, and gals. So I hope you enjoyed that. So again, I think the games aren't played on paper, no doubt about that. But I do think, I'm going to say it one more time. I don't mean this from an arrogant. I don't mean this from an overly confident. I just mean this from breaking the game down. I can't tell you how many scouting reports, game plans I put together, and putting together, whatever. This is child's play compared to what I used to do whenever I was in the coaching industry and putting scouting reports together. But for the minimal amount of time that I put together with these next two games, this is coming from what I see as a factual perspective. Again, I just think the Dodgers are heavy favorites, especially for these next two games. We'll see about Game 5, but again, not played on paper. You got to go out and do it. I think there's specific game plans. We'll get into Shane Bieber's tomorrow. And again, if you're a Blue Jays fan, please don't take that as taking your team lightly. I will say this, as a Blue Jays fan, I've had so many messages, comments. Blue Jays fans are very passionate. Maybe there's other outlets that are overlooking Toronto, but if you're going to come on this outlet or any of my social medias and think that we are overlooking you, just do a little bit of research and look through our social media posts, go through some of our videos on this World Series. Please, if you're a Blue Jays fan and you're going to come to Dodgers Daily and talk this crap about keep overlooking the Dodgers, before you make that dumbass comment, read, do some research. It's making you guys look like dumbasses, okay? On this platform, we've done anything but that. So if you're a Blue Jays fan, you want to leave a comment like that, like keep overlooking the Blue Jays or whatever, I'm just going to write you off as a dumbass. I'm going to write you off as lazy because you have not done any homework. I could not. Austin, everybody on this channel, our entire chat, every single time, could not have given the Blue Jays any more respect. So please, the woe is me, quit disrespecting us bullshit that I've had to put up with. God dang, for the last 4 or 5 days. Get the hell out of here with that, man. Root for your own team. Get out. At least if you're going to come into the Dodgers space like this, at least do us the favor, or don't, or leave, whatever, of at least being accurate and spending 3.5 seconds to figure out what the actual narrative is towards your team. And then also, by the way, the pitifulness of us, oh, woe little Toronto, us, whatever, okay? Baseball is what baseball is. The Dodgers are doing what they're supposed to be doing, okay? You're better than that. Your team was constructed better than that. No, you didn't get Shohei Ohtani. No, you didn't get Yoshinobu Yamamoto. But you have a hell of a team. You have a team that can easily beat the Dodgers, okay? Why in the hell do you want to poke the bear here anyways? That's the dumbest thing you can do. So Blue Jays fans, you're not disrespected. I can't speak for other platforms. You're not disrespected. You're not even really you're viewed as a team that is a huge threat to the Dodgers. You're viewed as the second best team in baseball. If you have a problem with me thinking that the Dodgers are better, then watch our videos. I have proven to you with data and stats behind that why I think that. So if you want to have a problem with that, then you're having a problem with hardcore facts and data, and then you would have to explain to me, not with your whiny ass crap that you're coming on and commenting with, but with actual hardcore facts as to why you think the Blue Jays are actually better than the Dodgers. If you can't do that, then go somewhere else or stop commenting stuff that's either not factual or just stupid to begin with. So I got off on a tangent there, but I'm just so tired of hearing from Blue Jays fans about how they're disrespected and how just stop. It's absolutely annoying. And Blue Jays fans are great. Now, I root for the Blue Jays. They're my third favorite team. They got Braden Fisher on their team. Joe Carter hit the walk-off home run in 1993. He's from Oklahoma City. I know Joe Carter. He's a guy that I sat in a dugout with in the early 80s and watched him play Legion ball. I was a bat boy. I went and got him something from the concession stand. And so, I grew up loving Joe Carter, and when he hit the walk-off in 1993, although it was against the Braves, that was a cool moment for me. So I don't root against the Blue Jays, but I am very tired of the narrative of their fans. Just go away. Give your fans credit, and hey, let's go from there. Hey, Pocket Rude Boy, they should have kept it respectful. Now LA fans are posting memes about the pavilion not being safe for them. So if I went off a little bit too hard there, I'm sorry, but I'm just I've had enough, man. We've done our very best to be as fair and balanced with the coverage here as we possibly can. Hey, Pocket Rude Boy, we respect the Jays. That didn't come in here with that first-timer energy. Yeah, we respect the Jays, but don't come in here with that first-timer energy, no doubt. Yeah, I mean, that's just we have respect for you. The Blue Jays are a complete team, definitely a worthy opponent. They absolutely are. We have covered every aspect of why they are so good and why, if the Dodgers aren't really on their toes, they will not win this series. Get win number 2 in game number 3 tonight, no doubt. Glass now pitched until the 7th inning, and Sasaki pitched from the 8th inning. This is the Dodgers' second win. Let's hope. Lay out the slider, says CNAB. Make him spot his fastball away first. If he can't establish it, spit on it away. There's another one, because you'll hit the end of the bat with it. Big Bonios, number 34, forever. Good morning, Coach. You think Paez finally awakes completely? His last 2 at-bats Saturday were good. Yes, and we'll know about Paez if he's starting to swing at the right pitches. So let's hope that Andy Paez starts swinging at the right pitches, and then once he starts swinging at the right pitches, gain some confidence from there and actually swing the bat with aggression, with authority. You know, when Andy Paez isn't going great, first of all, he's chasing, and then second of all, whenever he actually is swinging at the right pitches, he's just feeling around for them. He's not as aggressive as he should be. So the key to Andy Paez, again, not reinventing the wheel. This is for every hitter. Swing at the right pitches, make the right swing decisions. Then whenever you do swing at strikes, come out of your shoes, be aggressive, right? And get after it. Hey, it's all good, Casey. I'm watching the chat. Tried to give him a chance. I actually, that response wasn't from, I didn't even know there was a Blue Jay fan in the chat. That response that I had to the Blue Jays fans actually has come more from my social media, from the comments on the videos here on YouTube, and just the woe is me aspect of the incorrect narrative, at least pointed towards this platform of the Blue Jays. So I didn't even actually know there was anybody in this chat tonight. Hey, Al Minerva, I probably know more about Canada's history than most Canadians. Cry me a Hochelaga River, Toronto. Now back to Dodger baseball chat. No doubt about that. So I'm pretty busy today. That's about all the time that I have for this morning. I want to thank everybody for their wonderful support here on Dodgers Dogs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network. Again, it's going to be an exciting game. Post-game, I have to work tonight, so I'm going to be in and out. I won't actually get to sit down and watch the game. I'll be following it. Hopefully I'll get to watch it or listen to it on the way home tonight from work. I've got to go officiate some games about tonight and make some money, so I will not actually be watching the game. Post-game, we'll see if I get home in time and I'm able to kind of catch up on how the game went and be able to have something that's somewhat legible in terms of being able to talk about the game and everything that happened. We will do that, not guaranteed, but the bottom line is there. Turn on your notifications, and if we go live, you'll get a notification, and then you'll know that we have a show. So I want to thank you again for your wonderful support. Thank you for tuning in. You Dodgers Dogs are the best. And as always, it's a great day to be a Dodger.